What's up, everybody? Getting ready to do a little Buk Talk Radio today. Can't believe it's Wednesday already, can you? It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Just got to make sure everything's lining up. Now, see, Saturday, I couldn't get on the Outdoor Call Radio Facebook page. Now, today, it's letting me stream it. Now, is that not goofy or what? I'm just telling you. Drives me crazy. It does. All right, let me get on the network here. Get that connected up. Check 1 2 3. Check. Check 1 2 3. Check. We're good there. Looks like I'm good there. All right. I got this going in the system. We don't have that. How about that? Let's give a little music going. What's up, everybody, on the Outdoor Call Radio Network? Breaking into programming. We're getting ready to do Buk Talk Radio. Got a good show for you today, so I hope you stay tuned, and we'll get back to regular scheduled programming for the rest of the day. So there you go. Let me get rid of that music real quick. Just want to make sure my music bed was working. It looks like that's good to go. We're good there. Good to see everybody on the Imperial RV Facebook stream. I think I got everything set. Hey, that's good. That's early, huh? That's good. What's everybody up to today, huh? Huh? Boy, I tell you what, we've had bad weather in Iowa the last couple days. I mean, that's 3 or 4 nights in a row we've had storms. I hope everybody's been safe and not having any issues going on. I know I talked to my buddy Chad over at Weeby Knives in Sioux City, and they really got hit with a lot of wind over there. So I hope everybody's safe on that side of the state. That's for sure. So we'll see what's going on. All right. And I think I'm going to get ready to start the show here. So let's get that going, and we'll see what everybody's doing there. Let me just make sure I got my readings there. I'm going to pump that up a little bit there. Let's start the show. I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go. I grab a quiver and my bow. It's my gearhead, don't you know? Climbing to the top with gearhead archery. Heart racing as I take aim, my spirit soaring high. As I release my arrow, reaching for the sky. In this world of chaos, I find my peace. Gearhead archery, my soul sanctuary. All right, welcome to this week's edition of Buk Talk Radio, all across the good old US of A. I hope everyone's doing well. We got a fun show for you today, and we're going to be talking with Jared Larsen over there at Onx. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about going out west, hunting with Onx, and then how Onx is going to actually help you here in the Midwest as well. And we'll get going on there. I'm going to go ahead and get Jared dialed in right now. So let me get him on the line. Let me see how that's going. And come on, buddy. And hello. There we go. I got him on there.
How are we doing?
Jared, what's going on, my friend?
Oh, staring at the sun and about to call our day at the old office. You know the drill.
Hey, can you believe it's August already, man?
Oh, I can, in fact. I can. And I'm quite happy to see this month come and then go very quickly.
Yeah, what's it been out there in Montana? Are you guys getting all this extreme heat and everything like we are in the Midwest?
Oh, man. I mean, Missoula, we were at 97 yesterday. We're in the 90s again today. I mean, the water is as low as I've ever seen it for this point in the year, in the 8 years I've been here. Yeah, we got fires popping everywhere. We're going to be in a world of hurt next month.
Oh, you guys need some rain then. Hopefully it goes your way then. That's crazy. Sorry to hear.
Yeah, if you can send it over here, we take it.
Yeah, I mean we're getting like 2, 3, 4 inches every night. It's miserable, but it is what it is, and hopefully it comes out your way. We're supposed to have a massive cool down here starting tomorrow. Are you going to get that?
No, we are not. But it is next week. Next week we're supposed to cool off a little bit. But all that rain, Dan, that means hopefully no heat in your part of the woods.
Well, I was talking about that on the show Sunday night in St. Louis. I mean, the blessing out of all this is with all the water going around, the deer are not going to have to go to selective water sources there's going to be water everywhere. Then that's going to help reduce in the midge bites, which is how the virus gets transmitted from one deer to the other. And that's definitely a blessing, Jared. And this is about the next 3 or 4 weeks is usually when we see the EHD start popping out. So hopefully that nipped it in the bud a little bit. I really hope so.
Only time will tell.
Yep. Good to see you, Steven, in Pennsylvania. How you doing? Jeff in New York. Scotty Mueller in Oklahoma. Thank you for listening, watching. I appreciate that very much. Jared Larsen is at Onx Hunt. Fish, the new fishing app. The new fishing app. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. People are loving the new fishing app, man.
Good deal. Yeah, no, we're super pumped about it. Obviously it's limited offering right now across Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota, but we've got some pretty aggressive expansion plans for additional states. All the next few states are going to be in the Midwest. I know Iowa's on the docket, South Dakota, I think Nebraska. And so we're going to continue to just be hyper focused on that upper Midwest and providing all the rich data that you're seeing in there for Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Dakota right now. That is the goal, to get those for these additional states. And the value prop is really find new water, go explore a lake that you've never been to, and Onx will help be your guide as far as, what might you catch, what might be the size expectation of different species in the lake, finding boat ramps at different parts of the lake, really just all the preparation, that ordinarily would take, scouring a bunch of .gov websites and doing a little bit of sleuthing, can all be done in a matter of 5 minutes now to go explore a new piece of water. So people have been really stoked on it, and we're getting lots of feedback, both constructive and just like, hey guys, we love this. So we got a lot of room to grow and expand with fish, and we're super excited about it.
Absolutely. Gary in Minnesota, I wish I was up there fishing with you right now too. Rick in Lake of the Ozarks, good to see you. Donovan, what's going on at Triple H down in Kansas, buddy? Thanks for tuning in and watching. We appreciate that. Jeff up there in New York. Jeff says he needs to renew. Well, just get on Onx or just get on the app and renew, Jeff. It's easy, right? It's easy, Jared.
It is easy, and it is that time of year. We're obviously a very seasonal business, and August kind of, I think, for much of the country anyway. I'm sure there's a few folks in the South that would disagree, but August is kind of like the precipice of all the excitement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Iowa and some of those states don't open till October 1st for archery, but it's like the antlers are mostly grown. They're out in the beans. They're a little bit visible. Yeah, if you're not out there slinging arrows or getting your rifle dialed in, no better time than the next 30 days.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of I'm going to try and cram in here in a half an hour because you said you needed to get some stuff out there too. But I know, like just right now, I'm not able to do a lot of stuff with helping Jenny recover from her surgery and everything. So it's amazing to me. I can open my Onx app on my tablet or my phone, and while I'm down here at the office, or if I'm in a doctor's appointment with Jenny, I can actually go on my lease and my hunting stuff, and I can actually go and mark scrapes that I saw when I was shed hunting that I didn't go back. And Larry Mack is going to be up here, I think, next week, and we're going to try and get our mock scrape set and our cameras for sure. But it's nice that I can go in there and I can just go ahead and mark scrape camera. Please put this stand up here. I can get a lot of work done, and then I can just share that with Larry and Ryan, and then when they get up there next week, they can just get all that stuff done. That's really the simplistic beauty of Onx. You don't have to be in the field to use it, Jared.
Yeah, 100%. And something that we're really moving towards is, I think you just illuminated a really good example of the collaboration that goes into so many folks whitetail hunting. Obviously there's some people out there that solely hunt by themselves, and it's their own property or their own lease. But so often, like you and Larry and Ryan, or I'm often with a few of my family members, and so we're really working towards making the app more seamless with collaboration. And so we did an update to our folders recently, so I'm not sure if you've used foldering at all, but on that lease.
I was going to tell you, I just did the update yesterday or this morning. It's one or the other, but I did start using folders this morning.
Yeah, so those folders, I find them extremely handy, especially on a piece of private ground that maybe you've hunted that lease or your own property for years, and your map is a mess. You have waypoints all over it, you have tracks, whatever it may be, and really being able to organize them in a folder by year, really helps you be able to just really quickly turn that content off, hide it on the map so it declutters. But the other really cool thing is we now have collaborative folders. So in the past, when you would share a piece of content or a folder, that content was view only. But now with the collaboration ability, let's say you put all of that stuff in a folder for when Larry and Ryan come, next week to get cam set, and let's say you put 8 waypoints marking where you would like trail cameras to be set, and you share that folder with those guys. Well, when they get there, maybe 3 of your 8 trail camera locations, there wasn't a good tree or whatever the scenario was that a camera didn't get hung in those spots. Well, now they're going to be able to actually edit and move that trail camera icon that you hypothesized on that south side pinch point would be a good spot, but there wasn't a good tree for it. So they had to, pivot and put it 200 yards differently. Well, now they can just automatically, on their app in that shared folder, move that trail camera icon, and it's automatically, almost instantaneously, going to move on your account. That way, when you show up and go, "What the hell, Larry? I asked you to put a camera here. Where is it?" You say, "Well, you should have looked at your Onx. It's 200 yards up the hill."
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's really nice, and it declutters, like you said, and I can keep everything separate: scrapes, cameras, stands. I got 3 separate folders set up, and I mean, it just makes it super easy. Plus, when I go to like Triple H Outfitters, when Donovan, I check in, and Donovan tells me what property I'm going to, I can put a folder together for that property, and then I can set up and say, "This I'm hunting here," and Donovan actually knows where I'm at. So that's really a neat tool there, Jared. I'm glad you guys did that.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think there's like a bigger need or use for the app in the whitetail woods than what you just described. Whether that's showing up to Donovan's place there, an outfitter that you've hunted for years now, but or if your buddy's nephew comes up to deer camp for the first time, or maybe you met somebody at a bar and you're like, "Man, I need a hunting partner. Come on with it." Being able to share an access route for a tree stand location, and allowing or creating the ability for somebody to navigate to a stand that they've never been to in complete darkness. I know, I'm sure you've experienced it, because I sure know before Onx, I did some circle walking in the pitch black.
Yeah, yeah. You get up extra early so you can get in your stand, and then you don't find it till it's daybreak. Well, that worked. Yeah, exactly.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Not only did you not find it till daylight, but you put ground scent,
Every
every 2 yards for 50 yards in every direction of the stand, and you're sweaty. And
yeah.
so, the Hunt app, just a quick, simple share, pulls all of that unknown out for somebody that might be new to your camp.
Yep, Jeremy Lee at Racks and Tracks Taxidermy out there in Knoxville, Iowa. Thanks for watching, buddy. We appreciate that. Scotty in Oklahoma says my Onx locked me out a couple weeks ago, and I had to completely make a new account. Huh? Yeah.
I would ask that he shoots an email to help@onxmaps.com. And I would bet good money that there was just a password issue or something of that nature. But if you shoot an email to that email account, we actually have close to 40 full-time humans here in Montana that are helping you guys get your account situated. So somebody will reach back out to you, get you squared away, and we don't want that to happen, because obviously if your old account had all of your waypoints and your tracks, 10 years worth of data, that's not something we want you to lose. That's for sure. So we'll get you fixed up.
There you go, Scotty. Just send that email to them and they'll take care of you. Jeff, good to see you. Daryl Adams, Oklahoma. How you doing? Tommy Metzger in Pennsylvania. Tommy, good to see you. Hello. And Michael Cheney, good evening, afternoon, Dan, everyone there. Michael, thank you. Appreciate you all checking in. So, listen, we're getting close to people starting to start going out west. A lot of folks, man, I tell you, Jared, I was talking to Paul Biggs today, and I was talking to somebody else today about the price of hunts. And I think more and more people are going to just start trying to access BLM on when if they're going elk hunting, if they're going to go on these bigger game animals. Everything is it's getting to be where it's priced out of business anymore for the moose and the elk and everything else. And
Yep.
I think that's why having an Onx. Yeah, and I don't think we talk about this enough when I have you on. I try to cover it, but it's always better when you're on. You guys, if you're going out on BLM or if you're going on public ground, you can actually take that Onx unit and you can find the coolies, the switchbacks and stuff that you think that you want to try to focus on, but you can actually get into layers and elevation and look for saddles and flats that you know that's going to be a good area. Can you talk about that real quick, Jared?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, if you have never done a Western hunt, coming out here, it's a completely different world. And I would tell you this, whether I worked at Onx or not, because I was a user of our product, long before I worked here. But I mean, you might as well come out here with a blindfold on if you're not going to download Onx ahead of time. None of the public land out here is marked. And really, Onx provides a guide in your hand. So not only are we going to give you confidence that you're hunting on lands that you can legally hunt on, but as Dan said, there's just so many different features to help you find game. So, one that a couple that I would really recommend deep diving into our layers to go find is historic wildfires. If you're coming to hunt elk or mule deer in particular, historic wildfires are going to be, think of them as a food plot. So 1 to 2 years after a burn, there's going to be very slow recovery on that growth. But that 3 to 6 year old burn, that's going to be a grocery store.
Yeah, they're going to
so
be
if
all
you're
over
able
that.
to find, you're going to be able to find those edges where you have historic burns, in close proximity to dark timber, that cover that those critters need to bed up and survive the heat of the day in the early season there. That's one that you definitely need to be keying in on. Right in that same vein, active wildfires, if you're coming out in September for a hunt, there are going to be fires burning in pretty much every state that you can hunt a mule deer or elk in September. And I actually personally have had to kind of like pivot on hunting areas before because of an active wildfire. So that layer is actually updated, I think, roughly every 10 minutes. And so that is going to give you great intel and knowledge of where there might be an active fire. And then with that, we actually have a smoke forecast as well to understand, all right, I better be prepared to breathe in some ash if I'm going here, or, more ideally, you find somewhere that's not full haze. And then beyond that, our slope angle and slope aspect layer, super helpful for route planning, and it's all color coordinated. I like to call it topo for dummies, because if you're not really adept or confident with a topo map,
Yeah.
slope angle, it just puts it on a color gradient for you. And so you can understand, all right, if it's purple, there's a little legend at the top, that's going to be like a 40-degree slope. That's essentially a cliff. And so like understanding how you might get to a glassing knob or getting up over this ridge and into the next drainage, that's super helpful. And then slope aspect, finding those north-facing slopes where elk and deer are going to bed out of the sun, especially in the early season, or maybe you're going on a late season hunt and you want to go find the south-facing aspects where they're going to be soaking up that sun while they're bedded down, resting up for the day. So those are a few layers that I would definitely really check into. But as Dan said, the biggest thing you can do if you're coming out west, make sure you save maps for offline use. That's going to be absolutely imperative. And then do way more homework than you think you should do. If your wife or girlfriend's not yelling at you for being on your phone too much, or, you're not getting in trouble with your boss by being unproductive because you're spending too much time on Onx, you're probably not putting enough effort into planning your hunt. Because, genuinely, if you come out west on an elk tag or a deer tag, you're spending too much time, money, and effort to not have an A, B, C, D, and E plan. I've done it all too often myself, where you have a couple really good plans dialed up, and you get to the first trailhead and there's 9 cars. Get to your second spot, and there's a road closure because it washed out in some mega rainstorm or whatever it may be. It's almost inevitable that your A or B plan might get struck out, and if you're not prepared, then you basically burn a day that you should be hunting, reformulating what you're going to go do. So having that preparation done ahead of time is going to be huge.
Absolutely. And not only that, you got to worry about people having a lot of people there too. If you get out there and you see a ton of trucks in the parking lot, you're going to want to have 2 or 3 more choices just to get away from people as well. Jake, what's going on? Jake in Iowa, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Matt Wise, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate that. And Tommy, I think I got you already there, and I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. So there you go. I'm not going to take any commercial breaks today. I'm going to keep Jared on while we're talking. So you talked a little bit about fire burns, and if someone's going out for their first elk hunt, or if you're going out to a new area and there was a fire last year, don't. I'm just telling you right now. When I hunted out at Colorado 5-6 years ago, before I got my nice bull, we went out. They had a fire. And we went back out the next year, and we were shocked how many elk we saw in there grazing on that new tender vegetation. There was elk and deer and bear everywhere in there, and it was blacker and black, but man, it was loaded with elk, Jared.
Interesting. See, yeah, that's I've certainly tried a few of those early burns, and I'm no fire expert nor biologist, but my experience tells me that typically that first year is a little tough. Your experience obviously tells you otherwise. So,
yeah,
so there you have it. I would say don't rule those out.
Yeah.
Because I think it's also super dependent on like how hot the fire burns.
Yeah.
If you have a really hot burning fire, it's probably going to be a couple of years before vegetation comes. But if it's just like a quick flash in the pan that covers a couple thousand acres over the course of a day, that doesn't sit there and smolder the dirt to death, you're totally right. I mean, a 1-year-old burn might be absolutely money.
Yeah, and listen, you're way more expert at elk hunting than I am. I've been 10, 11 times, and I've only taken 2, but that was such a cool little area where we were in. It wasn't a big acreage, but man, we had some really well famous known elk ranches on all sides of us. And I think what them elk were doing, they were coming into the wallows there from the springs, and they were getting around, and the trees were still standing. They were burnt, but they were standing still. But I was just shocked. We came around the corner, and there was like 2 or 3 little bulls there, and a bunch of cows, and I mean there was definitely game in there. It was just crazy.
Well, and at the end of the day, I think that's just it. I mean, you can do all the planning and preparation in the world.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the gusto to hike up the ridge and get out there on day 6 after you haven't seen an elk for 5 days in a row, like that's what it takes to kill an elk. You need some mental fortitude and some grit and the determination, because I don't know too many elk hunters that have just waltzed out there in year 1 and tagged a bull and come home hunky dory. It's usually a few tags of learning curve and getting your butt whooped, and you start to put the pieces together. So, I think Onx really just kind of helps cut down that learning curve and how many tags you need to draw before getting that opportunity.
Yeah.
To bull.
And once you get, and too, Jared, too, there's no telling, something could have pushed them in there too. They could have got pressured over there too.
100%. And I mean, you brought up a good point on just borders in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my favorite way to hunt, just because, there's only so much you can do to get an elk to cross a fence, or maybe it's a proverbial fence and there's no actual fence there. But, it somewhat takes it out of your control. But at the same time, elk aren't stupid, nor are the mule deer or anything else that lives out west. They know where they get hunted, and they know where they get hunted less.
Yeah.
So I oftentimes find myself, pinned up pretty close against private borders when I'm chasing critters out west, just because that's the nature of the game.
Yeah, and if you're out there scouting and if you're hunting, if you find wallows, make sure you drop them on your Onx, you're going to want to save all that stuff for the future hunts if you go back out there for sure. So.
Oh, 100%. Marking wallows, good blasting knobs. I mean, good camping spots. I mean, I certainly get to the point where I use black icons where I see other hunters parked.
Yeah.
And it just helps build the picture of like, okay, all right, this trailhead has had a hunter at it every day for all 5 days. And that either tells me one of two things. That tells me that, there's probably elk back in there, but at the same time, those elk have definitely been worked and worked and worked again. So, just having all of that intel possible built into Onx is only going to leave you better prepared.
Did you guys load some new icons after I downloaded the update? I thought I saw some new icons in there.
Yeah, so we're up to I think like 94 waypoint icons.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a pretty good plethora in there. Now I think there's always room to be improved. Like we're still missing a few that I could certainly use, like an acorn. But we love those suggestions. So if there's things about the app that you guys would love to see or future ideas, that's really how we do our best work is listening to our customers and taking the things that you guys know you need from all the time you're using the app and letting us know about it. And that really drives this business forward is hearing our customer feedback and reacting to it and building for them. And I think the one feature that I would like to call out that's going to be new, if it's not on your app right now, it will be in the next couple days. I'll do basically the way we roll out any feature is we don't just go from 0 people using it to all of our customers using it. That just puts us at risk of app crashes and bugs and problems. So essentially we, send it out to 5% of our users the first day, ramp it up to 15, so on and so forth. So we have like a slow ramp so we can catch any troubles that may have been caused. But a LiDAR base map. So LiDAR stands for light image detection and ranging.
Say that again for me, please.
Yeah, a LiDAR base map. It's LIDAR, which is the acronym for light image detection and ranging. But it's if you open your base map card, so it probably says 2D in the bottom right-hand corner. It's a little square, and that's where you can change from topo to hybrid, satellite, and basically the one sentence value proposition is our topo lines show you 20-foot elevation increments most places. In some places, they're 10-foot increments. But this LiDAR is down to right about a couple feet of accuracy. And so, like, you can go find logging road beds that are completely invisible on topo or any type of aerial imagery, and they pop out on LiDAR. Really subtle benches that you'll find like, oh, there's this nice ridge really benches out flat right here, and there might be a deer bed or two on it, and like that, those little nuanced pieces of terrain really pop on LiDAR. So we're super pumped about that one. If it's not quite on your app yet, I promise it will be soon. And that is an Elite only feature, so you're gonna have Onx Elite in order to use that LiDAR base map.
Okay, I got that down. Brant, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in today. Hey, could you tell everybody what a bench is, just in case they don't know?
Yeah, 100%. So, what I'm looking for to find a bench is it's generally when on a sloped piece of terrain, be it a ridge, no matter how steep it is, you can still find benches on them. But when you're looking at topography, there's going to be a larger gap between topo lines where you find a bench. So essentially, it's just a little flat precipice on the side of a ridge that, no different than you and I. If we had to live on the side of a ridge, if we wanted to go lay down or rest, we would go find the flattest place possible on that ridge. Well, that's exactly what deer and elk do as well. Generally they like to give themselves a little bit of elevation. That way they can look downhill. They can put the thermals or the wind in their favor to kind of cover their back. And they'll find one of those benches, find a nice shady spot in the early season, a nice sunny spot in the later season, and those are really good terrain features to key in on.
Yeah, Brian, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for watching. Jeff wants to know, can you change the color of the topo maps? I know colorblind people.
Oh, interesting. Are you, Jeff, are you asking for like a black and white, like a deep contrast version?
Yeah, he's live messaging me on the. You know what, Jeff? Send him just give out that help address one more time for Onx.
Yeah, it's help at onxmaps.com. But Jeff, if you're asking about high contrast topography, that's really timely. We actually were talking about that yesterday. To kind of, our topography, we kind of have our own coloring and style within that, with kind of like a green hillshade.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just looking, doing some map contrast and comparison. And yeah, those black and white high contrast maps is something that just yesterday we kind of recognized of like, okay, we need to put an iteration of topo and LiDAR with this really high contrast, because it does allow those really small nuanced terrain features to pop even more.
Yeah. Rick says, I've seen LiDAR used and on the archaeological shows to find lost civilizations. Really cool technology.
Yeah, LiDAR is crazy stuff, man. As I said, like, we have it to a couple feet of accuracy. But there's, LiDAR out there that's obviously we sourced the best we could, the best LiDAR we could for this season. But there's sources out there that claim they're down to like a couple centimeters
Wow.
worth of accuracy. So I hope in a future state that, we can only continue to improve our LiDAR experience and continue to show more and more nuanced terrain detail. Because at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest thing in killing a critter is, Onx is going to help you to some extent, but there is no replacement for woodsmanship skills and understanding how and why critters use the landscape the way they do. And Onx honestly can really help facilitate those learnings far faster than if you had to do it back in the 90s or early 2000s when there wasn't tech to aid you in the discovery.
Yeah, I haven't carried a GPS and since I got with you guys and started using this. Donovan and Dean and a couple other the guides first told me about Onx several years ago, whenever you guys first started, and since I've been hooked up with you and learning all about this for like 4 or 5 years, I haven't taken a GPS out with me one time.
No, and that's the great part of it, right? It's like the offline maps just allow you to have full trust and full confidence carrying your phone. I've ever since I moved out here, I've never carried a GPS. I've done multiple 2-week Alaskan hunts unsupported. I did a pack raft 80-mile float trip in Alaska one year and carried nothing but my phone.
Yeah, it's crazy. Jeff says LiDAR is the key to finding Bigfoot.
Hey, I love it. Whether you're finding Bigfoot or a big buck, I think there's applicability to all of the above.
I had somebody email me the other day. How come you don't do that Bigfoot show anymore? I said, well, the Illinois Paranormal people they took it over because I can't do it. I'm too busy. And I said, I still love it. I would love to see the big fellow. I still have an open mind. I would love to hear one, see one, or get them on Onx. I think that'd be awesome.
Is there a better chance that there's aliens out there or Bigfoot, Dan?
I'll be honest with you. I loved it. I loved it ever since I was a little kid. Because, back in the 60s and 70s, that's when In Search Of was on. And we had a bunch of stuff going on in Missouri. They called him Momo the Monster. And I just grew up with all that. And then you had Legend of Boggy Creek. But after doing that Unknown File show for a couple years, Larry and them guys laugh at me all the time. But after talking to Dr. Jeff Meldrum, he's actually a real anthropologist in Idaho at the University of Idaho. And he's got footprints, tracks going all the way back into the 40s and 50s. And, the thing that gets me, Jared, is there's no way that people could have put all those dermal ridges and stuff on the castings on the foot. There was no way to fake that back then. So how do you get around that? That's one of the things that really keeps me having an open mind.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just like to believe in some of that stuff. I personally think there's probably a better chance that aliens exist than Bigfoot.
Well, we already know aliens are here. Trump already declassified it.
Oh well, I'm not up to speed on my political announcements.
Yeah, they have already said that the UFO things are real. So I mean, that's not somebody from Poughkeepsie driving them.
Yeah, my only thing with Bigfoot is, man, there's a lot of trail cameras out there in this world. And,
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've talked to some people that I know personally that have seen it, that said they've seen it, and these people are diehard religious people. They don't lie, and they don't go public with it. And the people that I tend to believe saw something, or they didn't know what it was, is the people that aren't trying to make money off of it. And I've interviewed quite a few of those people over the last couple of years, but I can't say it's real. I can't say it's not, but it would be neat to see. That's for sure.
yeah, no, I'm in your camp. I hope it's real.
Yeah, I would love it. I mean, then there's a lot of moose in this country, and you don't always see moose running around. You do see them, but you don't. And you can get camera pictures of them and stuff. And I don't know. Well, I didn't. I tell you, I knew this was going to go quick. I got the lidar base maps. We've got the folders. We got the color changing ability. We got the bench logging roads. We got the benchmarks that are going to be coming up. There's anything else you want to tell the folks before we get out here tonight?
No, I mean, my biggest piece of advice as far as learning the Onx Hunt app is a couple things. We hold a few master classes every month.
Yeah.
You can find places to sign up for those at www.onxmaps.com/hunt.
Yeah, just follow Onx on Facebook, folks, because I get those class. Yep. You guys are really good about letting folks know when that is.
Yeah, we send out push notifications, we send out emails, but that's a great way to learn about the app. But then the other thing is if you're sitting at home and you have 30 minutes where you have the TV on, you can't break anything within the app. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to turn on some layer that you can't quite figure out how to turn off, and you can shoot us an email or shoot us a call, and we'll get you squared away in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But that's the best way to learn the app is just go in there, touch all the buttons, figure out what the layers are, figure out what suits your personal hunts, and that's the best way to learn about the app. And I really truly believe if you spend 30 minutes just poking around, pressing the buttons, you're going to have a really good grip on the power of the tool as far as helping you be more efficient with the time that you have to spend in the woods.
Yeah, Brian says, is it something when you're deer hunting and you see Bigfoot, do you harvest them or just watch him? I would just watch him, Brian. I'm not gonna I don't shoot it unless I'm gonna eat it, and I just can't see a Bigfoot sandwich coming my way anytime soon. Yeah, no, I would watch them. Hey, Jared, it's always a pleasure, buddy. When's your first hunt?
Man, we're antelope opens August 15th. I got the archery tag in my pocket. I don't know quite when I'll get out for that, but I can assure you I'll be searching for a bugle on opening day of September 6th out here.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know if there's anything going. We'll get you back on the show, and we always appreciate everything. And thanks for all the help making our hunts easier on Onx.
Hey, likewise, Dan. Appreciate you having me on, and everyone out there, you enjoy your evenings. Good luck this year, and shoot straight at them.
All right. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
There he goes, Jared Larsen. Really nice, fine fella right there. I always appreciate visiting with Jared. All right, just real quick before we get out of here, ticks are really bad, man. If you haven't been out, they're bad. So make sure you're wearing your Limitick. A Limitick, if you have not bought it, you can get it. They got bundle deals going on at GameHide.com. Go check that out. Hunter education programs are going to start opening for registration for fall courses. There's over 200 hunter education courses every year offered by the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. A person who is 11 years older may enroll in the course, but those who are 11 and successfully complete the course will be issued a certificate which becomes valid on their 12th birthday. If you want more information about that, go check out the Iowa Department of Natural Resources website. They'll get you up there. Racks and Tracks Taxidermy over in Knoxville. Go see my buddy Jeremy. Jones Brothers Taxidermy. Dave's going to be up and running again here soon, so they'll hook you up. Actually, Jeremy's doing a walleye. I finally got a walleye. I've been fishing forever. Thank you, guys. Do you ever see the YouTube video of the guy that is a real Bigfoot in his freezer? Yeah, that's not real though, Brian. It's that's already been debunked. Thank you, everybody. Go see Jeremy's doing a walleye for me. I've been wanting to get a walleye replica made, and Jeremy's doing that for me right now. So go check them out. They do great jobs over there. Ruperts Rut and Peace Game Calls. Todd's gonna have some deals coming up. I'm gonna have a special involving Weeby knives and Rupert's Rut and Peace Game Calls and Norlander socks here soon, and we are definitely going to get everybody involved with that, as for sure. So make sure you listen. We'll be on Saturday 7 to 9 on 1350 ESPN. I had that on Do Not Disturb and it still rang. Did you hear that? Anyway, if you guys need me, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to get out of here. Have a great night, and I'm going to send it back to regular scheduled programming.